So we are recording. Hello and welcome, everybody. This is going to be lecture one for an emergent technology series that I will be creating. This PowerPoint has been created and will be presented by myself, Jose Fernandez. And this lecture one will be focusing on understanding the realities, virtual reality, VR, AR, and XR explained for beginners. The audience I'm trying to reach here is for students, professional, or the general public with little to no experience in the realities. This is lecture one, so it's going to be just the basic concepts, and then we'll further add lecture two and three and go more in depth. Sometimes I'm going to be referring, you'll be seeing me look to this side for some notes that I have to further explain some topics. So let's start. Now, who am I and why does this even matter, right? So, as I said, hello everybody. Little introduction about myself is I'm Jose Fernandez, and I currently work in higher education as the Emerging Technology Coordinator. What does that mean? I basically oversee, manage, and support emerging technologies like virtual reality systems, augmented reality, drones, and some other advanced simulations. I do this for a wide ranges of programs such as public safety, architectural, welding, and so forth. My education is super broad. So I have a certificate in human resources. I have an associate's in criminal justice. I have a bachelor's in technology of operation management, currently finishing up my master's in business administration, and I also have a continuing education certificate for substitute teacher. So I guess it matches to perfectly together with my experience right now because my education is broad. Um, which leads to me being the emerging technology coordinator for different programs. So, moving on, why does all of this matter? Why does VR, AR, XR matter right now? So, for one, it's changing how we work, learn, and live. XR, VR, and AR is being adopted across industries from healthcare to education to construction. Maybe some of your schools, you've seen that education are now implementing XR headsets. Maybe some healthcare, they have some 3D screens to look at hearts, to look at your heart, to look at organs, to make sure that they're doing surgery properly. Understanding these tools now help you adapt to the jobs of tomorrow. XR is no longer just a cool gimmick, it's becoming essential in training, collaboration, and design. Now, a little note, sometimes I'm going to refer XR. Basically, what XR is a mixture of virtual reality and augmented reality. So sometimes you're going to be seeing XR is no longer just a cool gimmick. Picture it as XR, it's a combination of VR and AR. So it's opening new career paths. Knowing how XR works open doors in game design, 3D modeling, virtual reality, virtual training, and educational technology, UX, UI for immersive environment. Even basic knowledge of VR, AR can make your resume stand out in tech, design, or education. It helps you be a smarter consumer or educator. You'll know how to choose the right headset, app, or training tool. If you're an educator, you'll know how to use immersive tech to boost learning, not just for flash, but for depth. Now, why does this matter? This matters because VR, AR, and XR aren't just buzzwords. They're becoming tools used in classrooms, workplace, and industries all around us. Whether you're a student, a tech user, or someone curious about where things are going, understanding this world can open doors you didn't know existed. So, once again, why does it matter? Because it's changing how we work, learn, and live. We're seeing it in the healthcare and education, even some construction sites. Some of them are using drones for blueprint, um, for land and surveying, like geospatial. That's another program I oversee. Um, it's opening new career paths. There's new career paths now because of virtual reality, augmented reality, and extended reality. Even basic knowledge of VR, AR can make your resume stand out in tech, design, or education. Sometimes saying, I have experience with VR headsets as a teacher. Let's say you're applying to become a teacher and for some reason you have knowledge of VR. That's a great way to put in your resume and use in your interview, and it'll make you stand out because now you have another tool to use to teach students. It helps you become smarter consumer or educator. Now you start adding different tools for people that might learn in different ways. So this is why it matters. Now let's break it down to learning objectives. By the end of this presentation, you'll be able to, there's three main things that I want you guys to know. I want you guys to define virtual reality, augmented reality, and extended reality in simple terms. Recognize how these technologies are being introduced in areas like education, public safety, and entertainment, and understand the importance of becoming familiar with VR and AR now, so you better be prepared as they become more common in the future. So as we're going over these slides and this presentation, I want you just to either write these learning objectives in a notepad, and as we're going through it, answer them, because these are the main things that I would love for you guys to capture and learn about this presentation. So let's start off. What is VR? So VR stands for virtual reality. It's a fully immersive experience where users enter a computer generated environment, often using headsets. That's the definition of virtual reality. So, virtual reality, also known as VR, completely immerses you in a computer generated environment. It shuts out the physical world and puts you inside a digital one, whether that's a video game, a virtual job site, or simulated surgery rooms. Think of using a headset like the MetaQuest or a PlayStation VR to walk through a museum in Rome while you're sitting in Texas. That's the power of VR. Key features are blocks out the physical world, used for gaming, training, therapy, and simulation, requires VR headsets. So, like a MetaQuest, HTC, Vive, or Vivid. If I had one with me at the moment, I would have shown you. In the higher education college that I work in, we have the MetaQuest Pro, MetaQuest 2, and also the MetaQuest 3. So, basically, a little example, we use that for primarily architectural or architectural engineering design technology. Students use Autodesk, create a building, a home, and we transfer that to Twinmotion, and that's where they could see their work come to life, and they could actually experience how high the roof is, or how this chair is going to look here, how the light hits specific areas of the building. So it's really interactive and it's really fun. Um, as I had said, walking in Rome while you're sitting in Texas, that's another great thing. That's another great thing that um, teachers are able to do. Maybe going to Rome is expensive, of course, with a lot of students. So having headsets and having them at least see um, the history of some places, it's great. So this is a key advantage, and this is what VR basically means. Moving on. What is AR? So AR basically stands for augmented reality. The definition is a technology that overlays digital content onto the real world using phones, tablets, or glasses. So AR doesn't take you out of the real world, it enhances it. It overlays digital content like images, sounds, or animation on top of your real world environment. You've already seen this in apps like Pokemon Go, or when your phone places a digital couch in your living room to help visualize furniture. Some key features are enhances reality, doesn't replace it, used in mobile apps, education, navigation, retail. Excuse me. Common AR example is Pokemon Go. A lot of people don't, a lot of people aren't aware that they're using AR. But I would say for the most part, most of us have used AR, especially shopping at a place. Sometimes we want to try on some glasses and you use your phone and it'll implement the glasses on you and you could see it on your face without actually having the glasses on. Pokemon Go uses the real world. You see the area you're in and you're trying to catch Pokemons. So we see this a lot. We've also used this in our college. We've used this for a Minecraft game that we did with students. And it basically is a tablet, and you're using the camera to see the area where you're in. But at the same time, you're seeing those little blocks of Minecraft and you're building basically in the real world. So a VR headset is basically you are shut. You're just visualizing the generated image, right? And here with augmented reality, you're basically seeing a layer, like a layer of the outside and the digital print, whatever it is, Pokemon. What is XR? So, XR is extended reality. The definition is basically it's an umbrella term that includes VR, AR, and everything in between. So, explain simply, XR, all immersive technologies combined into one, includes mixed reality. Real and digital objects interact using advanced training smart glasses. So, it's basically a combination of everything. It's an umbrella. XR stands for extended reality, and it's a catch all term that includes VR, AR, and MR, or mixed reality. XR is how we describe this whole spectrum of immersive technology that blends real and digital worlds. If you ever hear XR industry or XR training, it usually means an experience that combines physical and virtual environments. So we're going to move on to a summary chart: VR versus AR versus XR. So, for example, the features, right? VR immersive is full. As we had spoken earlier, it's a headset that you're fully immersed in it. You shouldn't be able to see the outside world. Sometimes you do, but now there's some headsets that are blending VR with AR. But for the most part, VR, let's know it as fully immersive. Device, it's basically headsets. You need a headset in order to use virtual reality. And environment is virtual. It's all virtual. You're in space. You are watching a movie. So think about it: VR, fully immersive. It's a headset that you need, and it's completely virtual. The environment is virtual. Now, moving on to AR, immersion is partial, right? Like we had spoken in the previous page with the definition of augmented reality, it's partial. It's like two layers. It's a layer of the actual real world and layer of the image or whatever you're trying to use it for. Um, these devices can be used in phone, tablets, but there are some headsets now, like the HoloLens, that are kind of AR. So there are headsets that have AR in it, but for the most part, AR is phone and tablets. And the environment is real slash digital, which makes it really fun because it's like it's your own area, but you're also seeing something digital combined. And XR is the immersion is mixed. It depends. XR, once again, it's like an umbrella putting everything together. The device is headset, smart glasses, basically something in your head shape. And environment is any blend or of both. So, which would make sense. It's an umbrella of both VR and AR. Now, real world applications. Where do we see these technologies today? The fields that we see them are endless. There's so many, but for example, we see it in healthcare, surgery, simulation, anatomy overlays, public safety, firefighter training VR, smart helmets, augmented reality, right? In the education field, virtual field trips, AR enhanced textbooks, and retail and marketing, AR try ons, immersive shopping. So basically, with retail and marketing, AR try ons, it's like I said with the phone. Sometimes you want to try something on from the comfort of your home to see if it'll fit or how you will look. Use your phone using AR with that. Or you're trying to buy a furniture and you want to know how it fits or if it's going to match the color of the walls that you have. AR. So it's being used in different areas, different fields. So now we're going to be breaking each one of them so we could get a little bit more broad knowledge of how is it's being used. So use cases in the education field, changing the way we learn. Each student can visit historical landmarks or study human anatomy in 3D. So one case is virtual field trips VR. Description: students can visit historical sites, museums, space, or natural wonders from the classroom. Some examples like Google Expedition, which has been retired but still influential, and class VR systems. What's the benefits in this? It makes learning immersive, especially for underfunded or rural schools. A school might not have the funds for it. Hey, luckily we have some headsets that we could take some students to a museum or, as stated, historical sites like Rome. Um, Note: improves engagement and retention by giving students a sense of presence. So back in the day, it was read a textbook, watch a video, but now with VR, you're truly immersed in that area, that scene, that museum to see dinosaurs. So you're learning and capturing a bit more. Now we also see it with augmented reality textbooks, AR. Description: when viewed through a tablet or phone, flat images come to life. 3D models, animation, labels. Examples are like AR biology books showing DNA, cells, or ecosystems. The benefits in this is that it brings abstract concepts to life and supports visual learners. Notes: it increases accessibilities for students with different learning needs. So I forgot to point out, but here the West VR field trip, you can see a student using a VR headset and going into the West. And then on the left side of the augmented reality textbooks AR, you can see it being used using a phone in order to see things and move things. And for the most part, you could touch those images and you could 360 and see it. Sometimes it like a heart, you might see it pulse, and all that is basically it increases accessibility for students with different learning needs, and it brings things into a visual. So special education support, AR/VR. Description: helps neural divergent learners, those with autism or ADHD, by providing structured interactive environments. So example: Florel VR, virtual reality social cognitive cognition training, VRSCT. Benefits: save space for practicing social skills, emotional regulations, and note: can be customized to individual students' needs. So it could also help with autism or ADHD. These technologies are already being used in powerful ways. So once again, use cases in the educational field. This is just some, but virtual reality field trips, augmented reality textbooks, and special education support. Moving on. Use cases in the training field. So it's also being used and implemented in training fields such as firefighters or police can run through virtual scenarios without real world risk. So in the public safety and emergency response simulation sector, description: students in criminal justice, EMT, or fire science can simulate high pressure scenarios such as traffic stops, fires, or active shooters. Examples: some technology would be the Flame Trainer. It's a firefighting simulation system. Apex Officer, that's another simulation system for law enforcement VR. The benefits is that it's a safe decision making training and soft skills development used at South Texas College and similar institution. So let's break down this a little bit more. Public safety and emergency response simulation, because that is one of the areas where I use it a lot. Um, in the college that I'm in, we have Street Smart, which is a virtual reality simulation for police officers. And I've seen it firsthand. Students that are going into a police academy train and use it, and it builds soft skills. There's countless scenarios that you could do. Each one of them, you could do a different response. And basically, how it works is a student puts on the headset, as we see here, the blue one, that's Street Smart. So a student puts on the headset and they're in this virtual simulation world, completely virtual, right? They can't see the outside, they're in it, which makes it more real. Um, they put on the headset, they have their gun. The gun is a Glock 19, which comes with the Street Smart, so it resembles an actual gun that they're going to use in their duty. And they holster it and they enter the scenario, right? It could be a disturbance, it could be family altercations, and what they basically do is enter the scenario and they have to speak to the person that they're interacting with, whatever. And the instructor or me could use the tablet or a computer to change the way that that person is going to interact with the officer. So I've seen it firsthand. Sometimes there's someone in distress, want to commit suicide, and they have a gun with them. And for the most part, a lot of times the cadets or students sometimes responds to put the gun down, or I might shoot you, which is kind of crazy because they're already in a mindset of I want to take my life, so that's not the correct way. So it's building soft skills in that, and they get to review after how they did the response and what they could do better. And the next time that they use that same VR, they're much better. They know how to interact, and even things as in like stopping a bar fight. Somebody pulls out a knife and the cadet officer decides to take out the gun and shoot. Sometimes a lot of them might not realize what's in back of those people that are trying to fight. There could be a little girl, there could be a family eating. And once again, they review, they see the angle they took, and they've realized, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have aimed and look at a specific part because the back of it, there's civilians. So let me change my view and shoot or do something in another way. So that's for criminal justice. I've also seen it with the flame trainer firefighters, countless different scenarios. Um, that one has a little bit more to it because you could put a vest that actually heats up when you're getting closer to the fire, and it has proximity. So if you're looking forward to the fire, you'll feel the heat in your chest. If you're looking back, you'll feel the heat in the back. And that one has the SCBA unit, which is the top image that is a flame trainer. It's the backpack that has the actual computer. I think the second generation is that. And it makes it as real as it could be. You put on your headset, the hose actually has pressure. So it mimics an actual water pressure hose. So you try to fight it because it's pulling back. And once again, countless scenarios where you um, try to stop the fire in a smart way, not going right away and not taking time and actually saving and helping. Um, but yeah, we've seen so many different people use it, cadets also, firefighter cadets, and it has helped them out in training, and it's cost effective. It's resource the resources is much less than actual burning a actual building. Um, some scenarios are really hard to recreate, like a plane on fire. How are we going to get an actual plane on fire for cadets to use? Well, we have the simulation that at least helps them out. And if they ever, when they graduate and they actually have maybe an experience like that, or they have a scenario in real life, they at least know how to go for it because they have some sort of knowledge of like, this is how we're going to tackle this scenario. So give me a second. So moving on to the vocational training skill practice VRAR description, XR enables practice of hands-on skills in fields like welding, automotive, aviation, or electrical work. Examples are Z-Space for welding, Transfer VR for careers and technical training, Another thing I didn't put there is Vertex 360, which I'll speak a little bit more about. Benefits: reduce equipment costs and risk while improving confidence before using real tools. And the note is strong connection to workforce development. So what you're seeing in the right corner image, it's like a stick with a display. That is called the Vertex 360. And we basically use that for our welding students. And once again, you probably can't see it there. Maybe you can. It's a VR headset that you put on and you're completely immersed into this environment and you're welding. And there's countless different, there's TIG, there's stick, there's a lot of different welding accessories you could use. There's horizontal, vertical, there's a pipe, there's different ways also of things that you weld. A lot of students use this in the first 2 weeks of class, um, when they're waiting for their tools and things to come. It's good for people that are basically new because it also helps you adjust your speed, your angle, and it gives you a grade of all of them once you're done with a weld. So break down specific things you need to fix. Like maybe you got a 50 because your speed was a little bit too fast. So it helps with beginners and it also helps out people that have experience and they might have gotten bad tendencies because no one actually showed them correct welding techniques. So this helps out. But we use that a lot. Vertex 360 welding, it's a really good VR simulation. Moving on, use cases in retail field. So AR furniture placement. Description: customers use their phone, tablets to view how furniture will look and fit in their actual space. So examples are IKEA Place app lets users place true scale 3D models of furniture in real environment using AR. Wayfair and Target have similar features. Benefits: reduces buyer hesitation, decreases returns, and improves confidence. Note: uses AR Kit Apple or AR Core Android to anchor 3D models in real space. Excuse me. So, like we had spoken earlier, um, furnitures, when you want to find out if something matches or fits in your specific small apartment or something, it's much easier. We see it on the image on the right side saying, hey, I'm going to Walmart. I'm trying to find or locate um, some apples. I've never been to this Walmart. I don't know where it's at. And AR helps you go straight to that. Virtual try on AR. Description: shoppers can virtually try on clothes, makeup, shoes, or glasses using AR filters. Example: virtual artist, Warby Parker virtual glasses try on, Nike Fit. Benefits: enhances online shopping, increases conversion rates, especially popular in beauty and fashion industry. So back to previous, same thing with clothing, mix and match, glasses, trying to see which glasses fits you better. So when you go to the store, you have a better idea of what glasses fits you, or maybe you don't even want to go to the store and you just want to try on glasses and order them online. AR helps you with that. Same thing with clothing. Um, I believe also makeup. So those are use cases in the retail field. Use cases in the gaming and media field. So gaming and media platforms like Beat Saber or VR Chat gives full immersive experience. So social VR and metaverse platforms. Description: multiplayer digital worlds where people can hang out, play games, attend concerts, or build virtual content. We saw it months ago, maybe a year ago, of that metaverse platform where Snoop Dogg was building a huge house and people were trying to buy virtual land. So that's what I'm speaking about here. Examples: VR Chat, Horizon Worlds, Rec Room. Benefits: it combines entertainment, social interactions, and user generated content. Note: often avatar based and headset optional. So I did not put an image for that section, but it's basically an area where it's all immersive environment and everybody is basically an avatar and you get to speak and see people. And let's say you have some cousins that live in a different state and you can hang out with them. Maybe both of you guys have a VR headset and you can meet in that metaverse platform where you can interact, play games, speak, and just have a closer interaction with the people that might be not close to you. So, XR in film and animation production. Description: XR is used in virtual production, filming actors on virtual sets using games engines. Example: The Mandalorian used LED walls and Unreal Engine to build dynamic sets in real time. The picture on the right is the Mandalorian using LED walls to do different sets in one specific area. The benefits in this is that it reduces cost, time, and logistic limits in the filming. And note, revolutionizing how Hollywood produces content. Moving on to the immersive VR gaming. Players are fully immersed in 360 virtual environments, moving and interacting naturally. Some examples are Beat Sabers, which is a rhythm game using VR controllers, Half Life, a story driven VR shooter, The Walking Dead. Benefits: physical engagement, deeper storytelling, and higher realism. Popular platforms include MetaQuest, Valve Index, and PlayStation VR. So, Beat Saber, I think for the most part, a lot of people are aware of this. It's a game where you put your headset on, you use the true controllers, and you're going with the rhythm, kind of like Guitar Hero, but now more interactive. So those are the cases that we've seen in gaming and media. Now moving to the hardware and platforms of MetaQuest, specifically Meta. There's other ones that like Apple that they're using, but for this one, we're just gonna focus on MetaQuest. The MetaQuest 2 is an affordable all-in-one VR system, no PC required. That is only with the current systems because Oculus Rift S needed a PC to work. Um, so the MetaQuest Series VR, Oculus Quest, formerly is Oculus Quest. Popular models are the MetaQuest 2, which is affordable standalone VR headset, no PC required. Which in our college we have the MetaQuest 2. MetaQuest 3, mixed reality support, improved resolution, and pass through. That's a little bit of the newer one. And then we have also the MetaQuest Pro, which is a business creator focus with eye tracking and color pass through. That one's a little bit more professional. You could tell by the quality of it. The strength, wireless and portable, huge content library through Meta Store, good entry point for schools and home users, use case education, gaming, training, fitness, everything. Um, Good entry point for schools and home users. This is a great small little topic to talk about. Let's say you homeschool your kids and they already have a MetaQuest 2 and they use it for fun games, right? Or for movies. This is a great area also to start using it for education. Um, Such as once again museums or lectures. It's a great way for them to be more engaged with education. Sometimes we have these things at home and we don't know how to implement or use them, but there are ways to use your MetaQuest 2 not only for gaming and entertainment, but also for educational purpose. So moving forward, hardware and platforms, HoloLens. HoloLens is an AR headset used in healthcare and industries. Microsoft HoloLens, AR MR, mixed reality headsets. The strength is hands free, spatial computing, real world overlays with interaction. Use case industrial design, education, medical, remote collaboration. I've used this in my current position a couple of times. They're great, but they do have a little disadvantage of using your fingers for interacting. Sometimes it's you have to grab things twice because it's not picking up properly, or typing with the keyboard, it's your fingers. So, but we use it for electrical and HVAC. They're great, but there's still some work that needs to be done for those HoloLenses. Hardware and platforms for ZSpace. So ZSpace AR VR hybrid for education. Description is desktop laptop solutions that uses glasses for depth perception. Strengths are interactive STEM content, great for classrooms and no headsets required. Excuse me. Use case anatomy, engineering, physics, welding, simulation in school. ZSpace, which we have in the college I work in, combines AR with touchscreen interactions. Behind this experience are software engines like Unity or Unreal Engine, the same ones used in video games, but now being used to build simulation and virtual learning environments. So, this is another product, another technology that I use a lot, the Z Space. We have the one on the very right side, AIO, which is all in one Z Space. And it's basically those ones. There's three glasses for one system. The black ones that you see in that image are the 3D glasses, and then there's two other ones that are blue, and it basically just allows you to see it regularly. Because once someone puts the black 3D glasses, and if you don't have the blue glasses, you're gonna see you're gonna see it 3D style, right? But if you put the black glasses back on, not back on, but you put it, you don't wear it and you put it next to the computer, it's going to be like a regular computer. It's until you pick up the glasses, put it on, then the camera is going to indicate to go 3D mode. So we've used that a lot for automotive classes because you could get to inspect the transmission, the engine, and it's really useful. We use two different applications. One is more of a textbook for automotive, where an example that I can make is we use a textbook, right? And it allows us to see how the suspension is being used when they go over a bump. That's the textbook one, and then we have another application where we disassemble and assemble an engine. So you go step by step on how to disassemble an engine, and then at the end you could do a quiz to see if you remember how to disassemble, assemble anything. But we use that a lot for recruitments for students in automotive. There are other applications that we can use it for, such as blueprints, architectural. There's a lot of advanced manufacturing applications that we can use it for, but primarily we focus on automotive for that. This upcoming semester, we bought two laptops. That's something new that we're gonna get from Z Space, and that one allows us not to need to put glasses on. So we're going to see how that works. We ordered two, and it's primarily going to be focusing on recruitment and trying to recruit students with those laptops for CTE programs. So that's Z Space. So with all this, just like everything in life, there's a good and there's a bad. Even though VR and AR and XR they have a lot of good advantages, there's also some challenges that they have. So not everyone has access to this tech, and it can be expensive. I believe the Apple headsets, the VR headsets, were first 2K, 1.5 thousand, 2,000, I think so. I could be wrong, but it was a crazy amount that made it just not accessible for everybody. Thankfully, now MetaQuest headsets are going cheaper and cheaper, which means that a lot more people could use it, but that's still a challenge. Some users get motion sickness in VR. I've had some tours where grown adults put on the headset, and it's something that some of them could only use it for 5 minutes because after that they'll feel uneasy and a little bit dizzy. Content is growing, but it's still early in many fields. Even though a lot of people are pushing VR and AR, it's barely growing. It's yet not like a computer that it's plug in and play. There's still a lot of things that it's in early development, I believe. There's also a learning curve, especially for educators or employees who aren't tech savvy. Some educators don't know how to use it properly. Sometimes you need to troubleshoot some things. You need to reconnect a controller. Um, so there's a learning curve. You have to have knowledge in VR and AR in order for you to be, I guess, tech savvy. Um, Moving on to technical challenges, hardware limitation. High quality VR headsets are still expensive, bulky, and require powerful computers or gaming consoles. So, some headsets are bulky. After a while, you probably feel a little bit of pain on your neck or head because of the heaviness. Um, they're expensive, and some of them you need to connect it to a PC, even though they might be standalone products. You still need to connect it to a PC in order to possibly run a heavy twin motion architectural building that you made. So battery life and processing power, that's another challenge. Some of them don't last long. AR glasses and mobile AR apps can drain battery quickly and struggle with real-time processing. Sometimes it's laggy, it's not picture clear. Even sometimes when you put the glasses on, let's say like you're trying on glasses with your phone, it looks too cartoonish. Connectivity and latency and poor internet or lag can disrupt immersive experience, especially in cloud-based XR environments. If it's laggy, if something's going on with the internet, it's going to be not the greatest visual representation of you putting a headset. So, moving on to user experience challenges, motion sickness VR. Rapid motion or poor frame rates can cause dizziness, nausea, or discomfort. I've seen it firsthand with some people using it. There's a learning curve. New users may find it difficult to navigate or interact with XR environment accessibilities. Sometimes it's hard. User put on the headset, they have the controller, and you're trying to explain to them how to use it or how it works or how to enter an application. So it's still a work in progress. People with disabilities or certain health conditions may be excluded from using XR technologies comfortably. I wear glasses. These ones are big glasses, and because of that reason, I can't try on some headsets. I think I only the MetaQuest Pro headsets are the only ones that fit me because of the way the back is. All the other ones, they don't fit me because of my glasses, and without my glasses, I can't see properly. So the MetaQuest 2, I can't. Before I had this ones, I had the smaller glasses that would fit properly, but because of this, I basically can't use it. Adoption and implementation challenges, cost and investment. School, business, or individuals may not afford the upfront cost of XR systems. So it's expensive, especially if you're buying for a whole class. Training and support, you need to train the faculty, the staff in how to use them, which is an extra fee and everything. Educators and employees often need trainings to integrate XR effectively. The issue is also that just because you have the VR headsets or the AR Z space doesn't mean that you're ready. You need to start building a curriculum around your VR and AR technology, which is another issue on itself. That now you have to possibly remove something in your curriculum that is useful because it's in the curriculum to involve this VR and AR into the course. So it makes it a little bit difficult. Integration with existing systems. XR tools don't always plug easily into current workflows or classrooms. So sometimes a lab might have an old style system, which now with the new XR tools, you might need to upgrade different things. Maybe the projector, or maybe there's things that now you have to upgrade in order for you to use that. So it's not just plug and play. But now the future. What about the future? We're heading towards even more connected and immersive worlds. Companies like Meta and Apple are investing billions into what's called the metaverse, where people could attend meetings, concerts, or even college classes in full VR. AI and XR are beginning to combine, making experience more intelligent and personalized. So the future is bright. Even though all the challenges I presented, they're currently things right now, but I still feel like companies, of course, are investing a lot of money and trying to make it better for the future because it's a competition. Whoever cracks the code, whoever tries to implement it and have more cases to use it for, they're going to have an advantage. So now, overall, why should we care about virtual and augmented realities? Why it matters, right? So, VR and AR are changing the game, and we're part of it. VR and AR are no longer just for video games. It used to be for video games. I remember the Batman game that came out. Um, but now they're being used to train firefighters, police, healthcare workers, and students in immersive environments. Education is evolving. Some schools and colleges are introducing VR for virtual field trips, AR for interactive science lessons, and more. Career prep is shifting. Future job candidates may be expected to know how to use or teach with immersive technology. Those who get early exposures will have an edge. It's the same thing as the companies. Those who get an early exposure, those who produce a product that is new and that is not as expensive and that you can use it for many things will have an edge. Same thing here. Candidates that know how to use VR or XR overall will have an advantage and an edge. Problem solving is more interactive. AR overlays real-time data onto your environment, and VR can simulate high-risk situations safely for training. This is where the world is heading. Tech leaders, government programs, and industries are investing heavily in XR tools. We're next in line. This is why it matters now and not later. So, but once again, just don't want to get your hopes up with VR and AR and say, go at it. You know, this is the future. We are all set. We're going in. A lot of people speak about it as in like, this is revolutionary. This is now start implementing this, that, but it's quite not there yet. Well, there's still things that we need, that people need to fix with those VR and AR and XR. So, but let's be real, VR and AR aren't quite ready yet. The technology is powerful, but still developing. Let's go over some things. Access is limited. Not all schools or departments have the equipment or staff to run it. It's not plug and play. VR AR setup requires calibration, updates, and troubleshooting. It's not as simple as turning on a laptop. Most teachers aren't trained. Even when the tech is there, many educators haven't had time or training to use it meaningfully in class. Short demos, deep learning. In many places, VR AR is treated like a cool extra, not a core learning tool. That's where you come in. Students who just use the tech even once could become the go to guides when it arrives in workplace or agencies. It's not there yet, but you can be ready. So basically, it's not there, right? VR and AR is not in a place where we're like, it's all said and done. You can implement it everywhere. There's still some modifications they have to do with it. But still, if you could get early access to it and start learning about it, it'll help you out in your future career and it'll help you out just be up to date with what's going on. Um, Sometimes, one thing I always say, it's not plug and play because sometimes there's big events where I need to present VR and the reality is sometimes calibration. There's many things that go into a simulation that sometimes things act up. You know, it's technology. It's not a computer that you turn on and it's ready to go. So that's my main, I believe, challenge with VR. The other thing is we went over in many places VR AR is treated like a cool extra, not a core learning tool. For the most part, a lot of them are not implemented in a curriculum. So it's basically a cool extra, a little side thing, a fun activity, right? Hopefully, in the near future, we can start implementing them in a curriculum. But as of now, that's how I see it, as a cool little extra. It's still good though, because students get a little bit of knowledge just in case. As the last one says, students who just use the tech even once could become the go-to guides when it arrives in workplace or agencies. A perfect example is, okay, maybe the firefighter cadets, um, they, for a semester, they might only use it, let's say, once or twice, right? Not enough, but once or twice. It's still good for them to have that experience, because you never know in the future when they're working for an agency and they get a fund to have a simulation so they could practice. At least that student who has tried it on or set it up could lead in that department and could be the worker that's like, you know what, I've had some experience with simulations, I could do this, I could help you guys out. And that's a big advantage of using it, even though we might not be implementing into a curriculum and it's not set yet. It's still good for students to be like, I've used it, I could do it in the workplace. um, Even welding, I think there's a robotic welding arm that is also being implemented in different areas. A student in this college graduated, um, is working in a welding, it's working in a business or factory involving welding, and they got two robotic welding arms. And a lot of people decided to quit, not go through with this new technology that's coming. And the student was like, I've seen it, I've seen it in a college, I'll practice, I'll use it. So, and because of that, now the students are more marketable. So, lastly, we're almost to the end of this presentation. Let's make it interactive, right? Now I want to hear from you watching this. Have you ever tried VR, AR, or XR? Maybe a VR headset, an AR filter on Instagram, or even Pokemon Go. If you guys could comment below your experience, if you've tried VR, AR headsets, Pokemon Go, what was your thought with it? What do you think about it? It's basically if you enjoyed it. So, who here has tried VR, AR before, even on your phone? What was your experience like? Um, and drop your experience in the comments. I would love to hear your stories to see if maybe you guys had a good reaction to it. You've enjoyed it. Um, Second question is, if you could use VR, AR for anything, school, work, gaming, or just fun, what would it be? Let's say you were gifted a VR headset, but you could only use it for one specific thing, right? Either school, work, gaming, or entertainment like videos, movies. What would it be and why, right? Let's see. For me, if you could use VR, AR for anything, school, work, gaming, or just fun, what would it be? I would possibly use it. Gaming would be fun. Gaming with it would be fun. School would be fun, or work. Um, I guess I would use it for work more because I'm already using it for work. But I wouldn't mind being not in my office, having the headset on, the VR headset, and having different displays and working. Not always, but once in a while. Um, I didn't answer the first question. Have you ever tried VR, AR? Of course I have. But before this job, I guess my main thing was Pokemon Go. My first experience of AR would playing Pokemon Go. Mission Mini discussion prompt. Imagine you're using AR glasses that can translate any language in real time, or guide you while fixing something. What would you want to try it on? Um, so imagine you're using AR glasses that can translate any language in real time. What language would it be? or guide you while fixing something. I think guiding you while fixing something from your vehicle would be extremely helpful. Having a YouTube section and then having AI tell you this is how you fix, this is the issue with your engine at the moment. Fix it like this, like a computer that you just, I guess you just have it on, like basically kind of like the Iron Man AI, Travis, something like that, and that it helps you fix issues. Um, if you had to teach a subject using VR, which one would it be and why? So, if you had to teach a subject using VR, which one would it be and why? Hmm. I would say it would be nice to have something for business related, such as like Shark Tank, like trying to create a product or a business idea, and then for, let's say, a business class, and you have people betting and seeing like if your product is worthwhile investing in it. So I would like to teach a business class using VR headsets. So drop your experience or drop your answers in the comment. I would love to hear that. So wrapping it up like a burrito, you wrap it up. Let's talk about some key takeaways, right? So today we introduce the core realities: VR, AR, and XR. These aren't just for gamers or tech geeks. They're going to change how we work, learn, and live in our next session. In our next session, we'll go deeper into how these experiences are actually built, the tools and skills behind XR. VR, AR, and XR are exciting but still evolving. While immersive, they are not yet fully dependable for serious educational workforce application. We must understand where the technology stands today and what realistic advancements may come in the future. Learning about immersive tech now helps us prepare for change, but it's important to stay grounded and not let it overshadow critical thinking or real world skills. So those are the key takeaways, and we are done. So are you ready to step into the new reality? Explore the tools, stay curious, the future is immersive. As stated, follow along in this lecture series to dive deeper into emerging technology. Hopefully, you got to learn some new things. Um, as stated in the first sheet, in the first section, this is for beginners: XR, VR, and XR. Um, AR, VR, XR basically was a beginner lecture one. Hopefully, you guys are got some knowledge out of this presentation and you could use it for your career or just to build. But thank you for sticking with me in this presentation, and I'll probably we'll see each other in lecture 2. So thank you.